Speak review. Okay, Congresswoman, again, thank you for taking the time. I just wanted to ask the most topical thing right now, which is this news just out that HHS is going to reduce workforce by 20,000, 10,000 people will be just straight up losing their jobs. I'm sure there's a lot you could say about this, but I wonder if you
Yeah.
feel that this might make Americans less safe.
I think it's going to make Americans definitely less safe. I don't think anybody in Congress has a problem with having a real discussion about making government more efficient, but we also have to make sure that government still provides the services, in certain cases, life-saving services that the American people expect. And what we're seeing from DOJ in this White House is there's no plan or doesn't seem to be a plan or strategy to ensuring that those services keep pace with the American people. So that's one of the many cuts that I'm very, very concerned about.
Over the course of the past couple months, as we've been hearing about cuts in all the various agencies, I imagine as someone who represents a lot of federal workers, you've had a lot of conversations with them.
Yeah.
When somebody tells you, "Hey, I've been fired," what do you tell them?
Yeah. I represent in the third congressional district 44,000 federal employees. That's we think the fifth or sixth most dense congressional district in the country. And yes, from dozens of federal departments and agencies. And when people approach me about this at a town hall or at the grocery store, it's usually with tears. It's usually people who are passionate and hardworking and dedicated and did not get into this work for the money. They got into it for a sense of community and service and patriotism. And they just want to do their jobs. And the disrespect we're seeing in terms of people waking up to an email saying you're fired, don't come in, and then that email gets cut off. People who probationary workers who were fired without 2 weeks notice or a severance. These are folks with mortgages to pay and kids in school. And again, no plan to make sure services that Americans expect can be delivered. So these are really tough conversations. I tell them to file an appeal. I tell them to talk to their union, and I tell them I'm fighting for them each and every day in Congress.
How is that message going over? Because we've seen sort of angst against Democratic lawmakers. Obviously, we've seen it in Republican town halls. Republicans are saying, are you sure that they should be doing this? And then the Democrats are saying, hey, you're not doing enough. Are you hearing that message as well, that Democrats aren't doing enough?
I certainly have gotten that message from my constituents. Thousands of people call every week and in the community. My message back is we are in a minority. Like it or not, it's the reality of the situation. So I have to find at least three Republican colleagues who can agree with me on any given issue, even to have a bill heard in committee, let alone voted out of that committee, let alone voted on the floor. And so that's why you'll see me across the aisle physically. If you ever watch C-SPAN like my mom, and you're gonna see me on the Republican side of that aisle talking to my colleagues whose districts look like mine, but they vote a different way, trying to reason with them about the very arguments I've made today, that this is about services to the American people. This is about making sure government can work for our constituents. And I've been successful. I introduced the first bipartisan DOJ bill in Congress. I got three of my Republican colleagues to say that, hey, maybe we should respect the time probationary employees have already given to this nation and not make them restart their clock if they are reinstated to government. And so we're pushing to make sure that bill is heard and possibly gets out of committee. So I'm using every tool I have, filing bills, filing amicus briefs, being in the community, talking to my Republican colleagues, doing everything in my power in the minority right now before 2026.
Then, as a whole, what would you say is the succinct, if there is one, Democratic caucus message? Is it, hey, just hang in there till the midterms? Is it, hey, we're fighting like hell for you? Is it a combination of those two things? How would you characterize what the caucus message is?
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of we are here for you, we're doing everything we can. It's also, a lot of what drove the results of the last election were concerns, real concerns about affordability, the housing crisis, prescription drug affordability, energy affordability. And we're not seeing that conversation even happen in our Congress right now. We're not seeing it from the White House. And so House Democrats are trying to bring us back to this issue of, hey, people are struggling to pay their mortgage and fill up their gas tank and put groceries on the table. And we're the party that's going to focus on those affordability issues, those quality of life issues, and deliver real results for you. So trying to listen and hear people and craft an agenda that is actually going to help people in their everyday lives.
Just my last train of thought here with a couple of questions is I don't hear that message
Mm.
with what you were just saying, the affordability message. I mean, it seems like, the administration, there's sort of everywhere. There's a lot of things happening all at once. But so I guess my question is if you as a freshman Democrat, if you had the opportunity to go into the caucus room, wave a magic wand and say, as a caucus, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
Is that what it would be to focus on those affordability issues?
I do think that's what it is. Number one, I do have those conversations with caucus leaders and Leader Jeffries, and it's something we're all feeling back home in our districts. And again, my job as an elected official is to sincerely hear the concerns of my constituents and then fight like hell to do something to solve that problem. It's why I ran for the state Senate, why I ran for Congress, and it's what I am focused on every day. So I'm having those conversations internally with my caucus. I'm having those conversations in my community because, again, that's what everyday people, that's what they're focused on, those kitchen table economic issues.
Will we see more of that? Will we see, in your view, in your looking into your crystal ball, Democrats start to coalesce around that sort of singular message rather than fight, the signal issue over here and federal workers over here? What will dominate the conversation?
Yeah, I'm trying to make it about affordability, but at the same time, I have an obligation with 44,000 federal employees. I also talk about federal employees quite a bit, but my colleagues in New York and Texas are talking about tariffs, right? And folks in California are talking about immigration. So everybody has to reflect the priorities and values of their own districts. But I think the through line, the thing that's connecting everybody's district is this affordability issue.
And is your bill, is it progressing? Does it have a hearing date, or I know in the
Not yet.
It's hard to get that, but
It's really hard to get a hearing date. So I got 3 Republican co-sponsors on the bill. I'm going to be working with them, and I'm not done. I'm going to try to get more. And then it's this question of working the committee process and communicating to the Republican chair of that committee, hey, this is a good idea. It's bipartisan. Please have a hearing on it. And then we'll go from there. But it's a lot of behind the scenes grunt work to get a bill to move. But that's something I was very good at in Annapolis. It's something I'm focused on. You're not going to see me have many viral moments in Washington. I'm working the room. I'm working my colleagues. I'm doing my best to get this bill to move.
good luck to you. I know, being in Congress these days is like playing a game of whack-a-mole, especially with all this going on and with the stakes being as high as they are. So I do appreciate you carving out a few minutes to talk to us today for Channel 7. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, take care. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Bye.